All right, here we go. Have a nice day. TV's mostly serving reality shows. While I'm sketching this part, guys, I will be hearing this, obviously, like a radio, but I will look, obviously, a little bit to the screen to see what's going on. Just people, again, this is only...
It's one of the most controversial reality shows of all time.
I think maybe the biggest thing that I don't like about this show is that it seems to manipulate the contestants.
It's upsetting in a lot of ways. What this producer and all the people who worked for him did to this poor guy.
I don't know what your values are, but certainly this show does not fit in any set of values.
Most reality shows are about singing, cooking, or dancing, but others were created just to shock or disgust viewers. Some of these shows were so bad, viewers sued the network for airing them. Today, we're diving into the worst. We'll look at TV's most disturbing reality shows, starting from the least to the most shocking. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality. And in order for me to do that, we gotta keep Visual Venture growing. So 75% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you did, and I promise to give you more fire content. I'm Visual Venture. You are awesome. MILF Manor. Google MILF Manor and you'll see headlines like MILF Manor is the worst thing I watched this year. MILF Manor is a show that should not exist.
MILF Manor, bro. It's crazy what people would do for a reality TV show or fame. It's pretty much like, it's like a dating show. The mom and son going to this show, and so the sons date each other's moms and hook up with each other's moms. That's how disgusting that show is, dude. It's disgusting.
And everyone involved is going straight to hell. And people might have not been overreacting. Their biggest problem was the show's insane concept. MILF Manor was a dating show that premiered in January 2023. It followed 8 women in their 40s and 50s who wanted to date younger men. So the producers handpicked a group of guys who seemed like perfect matches.
Please head to the house where you will meet the new men in your life. Let's go!
But as soon as the guys walked out, the show took a disgusting turn.
Woo! That's my mom right there.
These weren't just random young men. They were the contestants' own sons. They were the sons of the older women. That meant that every son had to watch his mother flirt, kiss, and date right in front of him. And the moms had to watch their sons do the same.
I knew my son Gabriel was going to be in Mexico with me. I thought he was going to be on a separate dating retreat, but he's in my dating pool.
But that was just the beginning. Instead of giving everyone separate rooms, the producer forced each mother and son to share a bedroom. So if a mom wanted alone time with one of the other guys, she had to kick her son out. Viewers were horrified, calling the show demented and weird. However, for the mothers and sons on the show, the experience was worse. By the second episode, one of the sons was left legitimately traumatized after finding out what his mother did. The producers needed to keep the show exciting, so in every episode, contestants were forced into awkward challenges. In episode 2, they had to guess each other's inappropriate secrets. That meant that sons had to sit there and listen to their mom's bedroom experiences and vice versa. Obviously, it did not end well. During the challenge, one of the moms confessed to doing something with her son's best friend.
Okay, my secret is I with your best friend.
The son was speechless. He later told the show producers that he felt traumatized by the savage news.
This is something I never saw coming. I did not expect this at all, 0%.
That scene went viral and got everyone talking. Someone tweeted, "The pain in his face when his mom reveals her secret. MILF Manor is going to ruin these families." But instead of hurting the show, the negative publicity helped it grow. Soon, MILF Manor was one of the most popular shows of 2023. It was a train wreck, impossible to watch, yet impossible to look away from. This tweet said it best: MILF Manor being the single most demented, sick, and twisted television show put in television in the past 20 years. OMG, I will be seated for every episode. The first season, which aired on TLC, accumulated more than 45 million views. But people weren't watching because they liked MILF Manor. They watched just to complain.
It seems to be unanimously the most and show I've ever seen.
But the backlash didn't stop the producers from releasing MILF Manor Season 2 in 2024. This time, the single women were pursued by younger men and their fathers. Still weird, but in a different way. MILF Manor has a 14% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And although it hasn't been confirmed, there's a chance MILF Manor Season 3 is already in the works. The show was a train wreck, but the worst part, these women had no control over their privacy. And that's not just a reality TV problem, it is an internet problem. Data brokers sell our personal information without us even knowing. You could go to any data broker website right now and buy anyone's data for a few bucks. I don't know why, but it is completely legal. I've literally been a victim of this. My personal information was floating around on the internet, and when people found it, it turned into a terrible situation. So I tried removing my data from every site that sold it, but after long hours, I only deleted like 5% of my personal information online. That's where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in. They scan data broker websites to find out where your information is being sold without spending hours. And watch, after a few weeks, you'll notice less spam. But most importantly, when you search yourself up, you'll stop seeing your private information online. Aura also monitors the dark web and alerts you if your data has been leaked. And if someone tries to open credit or bank accounts in your name, they let you know instantly. And in the very worst case scenario, they provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Aura even includes a VPN with over 100 virtual locations for even more privacy. You guys, I genuinely recommend going to my link aura.com/VV to try 14 days for free, because that'll be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. If I did this earlier, it would have saved me a ton of time and money. Everyone knew this next show would cause chaos because it involved kids, but the producers went ahead and made it anyway. Kid Nation. In 1954, someone wrote a book about kids trying to survive without adults. It was called Lord of the Flies. In the story, a bunch of kids decided to create their own society on an island. But before long, everything falls apart. Tempers flare, they turn on each other, and their society descends into chaos. So everyone was shocked when CBS announced a reality show about kids building their own society. They called it Kid Nation. And no surprise, it was a complete disaster.
Welcome to Kid Nation.
Kid Nation was filmed in an empty town in New Mexico. 40 of America's smartest children were dropped off and told to run the town for 40 days. There were no adults to help them, just a camera crew who stayed out of the way. The kids were between the ages of 8 to 15.
Imagine a world with no adults. Just 40 kids with a chance to build their own society.
Our work is cut out for us.
City kids, country kids, rich, poor, and everything in between.
At first, it felt like an adventure. The kids were in charge, making their own rules. But then, everything started to go wrong. The problem started on day 1. As soon as they arrived, the kids were given their first physical challenge: haul all of their food and supplies to the abandoned town in the middle of the desert heat. But that was just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm not gonna be with my parents. There's no adults, and I think I'm gonna die out here because there's nothing.
When it was bedtime, they were given paper-thin, dirty mattress pads to sleep on. Food wasn't any better. They were only given canned goods and dried beans and had to learn how to prepare their own meals.
Well, when we first started planning for dinner, I realized that a lot of us haven't done anything like this before.
Then there was the issue of medical care. With no parents around, they were left to treat their own injuries. Medics were on standby, but they only stepped in when things got really bad. With each passing day, Kid Nation got more chaotic. Kids ate with their hands because there were no clean dishes. Fights broke out, and someone was always complaining about something.
I don't see any food. No food. It looks like all our laundry and all our water is frozen in.
But instead of stopping the show, producers just recorded the chaos. And then the police arrived to shut it all down. A few weeks into filming, New Mexico officials received an anonymous complaint about the conditions at Kid Nation. When inspectors showed up to investigate, they were turned away several times. Eventually, the show's producer were able to get...
The anonymous had to be one of the workers in that show. They probably were like, yeah, this is too fucked up. We have to stop this. I guarantee it had to be somebody working in the show.
Law enforcement to back off. So the mayhem continued.
I think the town definitely really needs some law and order because the people are just doing whatever they want, whenever they want.
The kids formed their own government by electing a town council, but all it did was create new problems and fights.
I find that really funny.
But you say you were nice to everybody on day one. You treat me like I'm not gonna treat you good.
The show lasted 6 weeks, but if things got too intense, any child could choose to go home. So 3 kids quit before the show officially ended. Kid Nation finally aired on CBS in September 2007, and it caused an uproar. Viewers weren't just shocked, they accused the show of breaking the law. Child safety advocates accused the show of violating child labor laws. But the network saw this coming and made sure they were protected. CBS defended Kid Nation, claiming the set was more like a summer camp rather than a place of employment. Before filming, they also had the kids' parents sign a 22-page waiver giving up all rights to sue. Still, viewers complained that this show was too reckless and that contestants could have been seriously hurt. The backlash was so intense that CBS never made a second season. This next show took the idea of beauty and pushed it way too far. The Swan. What happens when you mix plastic surgery and beauty pageants? You get this horrible show. The Swan was a reality show where women got plastic surgery to compete in a beauty pageant, and every step of the process was recorded for the world to see. But what aired on TV was so unsettling, it was called the most sadistic reality series of the decade. Each episode began with the show selecting women they called ugly ducklings.
I've got hair I feel completely unbearably disgusted with myself.
For 3 months, these women went through an extreme makeover with a team that included a personal trainer, therapist, dentist, and cosmetic surgeons. But the biggest part of their transformation involved plastic surgery.
Women went under the knife for dramatic transformations, going from ugly ducklings, that's the phrase the show used, to beautiful swans.
Contestants got new noses, cheek implants, lip injections, and other jobs, all done at the same time. It wasn't fun. Contestants were pressured into surgeries they didn't want. One woman was scolded by one of the plastic surgeons for refusing a nose job. Another woman felt mounting pressure from the show to continue getting more work done to her body. But things didn't get any easier after the surgeries either. For 3 months, contestants were completely isolated from their friends and family, only allowed brief phone calls each week. But the strangest part was that they weren't allowed to literally see themselves. Every mirror they came across was covered. On top of that, they endured intense workouts, strict diets, and therapy sessions. If they didn't keep up, the coaches would tear into them. One contestant was harshly scolded just for ordering cream cheese. It was a complete emotional shock. At the end of the 3 months, their final transformation was revealed. It was like going to bed and waking up looking like a different person.
No way.
Plastic surgery, bro.
Oh my god.
But the show wasn't over yet. Each season, 9 contestants were chosen to move on to the Swan Beauty Pageant. Those who didn't qualify for the pageant were simply sent home with no further support. That was pretty cruel considering they just went through life-changing surgeries.
Yeah,
and the people that they bring onto the show to undergo all these procedures do have sometimes profound psychological issues that they need help to work through. And this is not something that you can do in a 2.5-month program.
Some contestants later said they struggled with depression after the show ended, but the show didn't care. They focused on the women who made it to the Swan pageant, and for those women, well, things didn't get any better for them either. Instead of celebrating each contestant's journey, the show turned their transformations into a competition, adding more pressure to an already stressful experience.
And we've been, relying on each other, and then all of a sudden they're going to pit us against each other, not by our choices.
The Swan pageant was a standard beauty contest with categories like evening gown, swimsuit, and lingerie. Whoever was considered the most transformed woman at the end was crowned the winner. The first season premiered in April 2004, and it was a hit, averaging 9.1 million viewers a week. Despite the high ratings, it also received a ton of negative comments.
The show stirred a major controversy, particularly over the ugly duckling crack.
Critics called it hurtful and repellent. Mental health experts said it promoted dangerous beauty standards.
But the whole setup and the people standing back there, it seems so contrived and fake that I just don't like it.
Even plastic.
It's fake, right? I mean, it's plastic surgery. It's not real. Like, what? So it's like it is pushing unrealistic beauty standards at that point because it's literally plastic surgery. I understand the part where like you're eating healthier, you're working out, you know, that kind of stuff. Maybe like obviously like people want to take it more like with their skin and all that, like ways to clean your skin a lot better, etc. I think that's the way to do it, but that doesn't bring in viewership and doesn't bring a lot of like that doesn't bring enough drama. So, plastic surgery though to look completely different what it used to look like. No, that brings in like, you know, so I get it. It's wrong, but I get it. Why they don't want to go the other way.
Surgeons spoke out, saying it was risky to put contestants through so many surgeries in such a short time. After 2 seasons of non-stop criticism, The Swan was cancelled. But as time passed, its reputation only got worse. Entertainment Weekly ranked it the worst reality television show ever produced. This next show wasn't just deemed disturbing by the public. I think we can all agree that the premise itself was meant to be as shocking as possible. Okay. My Strange Addiction. Every episode of My Strange Addiction was either tragic.
I remember that. I remember that. So yeah, there's clips out there. People were addicted to gasoline, eating paper, eating like foam stuff from. Oh my god, dude! People were like, I think they put a episode about the car or something like that. It was a very weird show. Very weird. Obviously, when I was younger. Obviously I found out it's entertainment. I was a goddamn kid. You know what I mean? But now it's like, oh.
Creepy or shocking, sometimes all three. The show traveled across the country searching for people with the strangest addictions imaginable. The producers didn't want common struggles like gambling or substance use. They wanted addictions that would shock viewers to the core. And for 6 seasons, My Strange Addiction delivered exactly that, showcasing the strangest addictions ever seen on TV. One of the most unforgettable episodes followed a woman named Cassie. She recently lost her husband, and in her grief, she became addicted to eating his ashes.
First, I lick my finger.
She's addicted to eating his ashes?
And I don't just dip it in. I swirl around to kind of feel and get it caked on there good. And then I just eat it.
Then there was Nathaniel, who was in a romantic relationship with his car. He kissed the car, took it on dates, and even got intimate with it.
Love you, baby.
How?
It was love at first sight. His body and then his interior and everything just together just seemed to fit. And I just felt an instant connection.
Oh my god.
Some addictions were more about appearances. One man spent thousands of dollars on surgery to look like a celebrity.
Some people buy fancy cars or fancy mansions, and what I do with my money is I get surgery to look more like Justin Bieber.
Then there was a woman who ate beds, literally.
There you go. That's the one. That's the one.
My name is Jennifer, and I'm addicted to eating mattresses.
Some of these addictions weren't just strange, they were dangerous. A woman named Lori couldn't fall asleep without her blow dryer turned on next to her. Firefighters warned her it was a serious fire hazard, but she couldn't stop.
She, one night, turned on this blow dryer, and the sound of it, the warmth of it, just instantly put me to sleep. And from that night forward, I was hooked.
The show quickly became a hit. With each episode,
I will say my addiction would be to fall asleep. I need sound, so like I need like a AC on or a fan on to go to bed. So that one I can kind of understand. I mean, not, the blow dryer is a little bit weird, but I could understand this. Sometimes the sound just makes you go to sleep. So I can understand that one. Wait, hold up. All right, guys, back to the video. Sorry about that. How you doing, Phantom? We're doing a big painting right now. We're gonna finish the sketch so we can start painting, and we're watching the TV's most disturbing realities.
Shocking. But then one addiction was so bizarre that viewers started to wonder if the entire show was fake. In season 3, episode 27, a woman appeared on the show with a not-so-safe craving.
My name is Shannon. I'm 20 years old. And I'm addicted to drinking gasoline.
Yeah,
this episode was so outrageous it made people start asking questions. A Quora user wrote, "Can someone actually drink gasoline daily without ending? I just can't believe she's walking and talking normally. This has to be fake, right?" That person wasn't alone. On Reddit, there was a whole conversation about if the show was fake. I mean, how could someone eat a mattress and not end up in the hospital? And that led to an even bigger question. If these addictions were real, was the show actually helping helping anyone or just using their struggles for entertainment. Most shows about addiction try to help people recover. My Strange Addiction didn't. It just filmed their struggles and moved on. The show pretended to care. Toward the end of the show, a therapist is usually brought in to assess the addiction and advise on the best course of action for the individuals to take. But most of the time, the therapist's advice wasn't helpful. One critic said it best: afflictions are fascinating, but too much time is spent gawking at their odd behavior as opposed to treating it. Only in the final moments do therapists pay a visit, and they oversimplified things by suggesting exercise and journaling. After 6 seasons, My Strange Addiction ended in 2015. Till today, clips from the show still go viral, but no one can answer the biggest question: were the addictions on the show real, or was the entire show one big scam? This next show was built on a foundation of lies and deception. Scare Tactics. From 2003 to 2013, Scare Tactics aired 114 episodes, and in every single one, the goal was the same: to terrify people like never before.
Welcome to Scare Tactics, where the cameras are hidden and people's everyday fears are exposed.
It was a hidden
Scare
camera
Tactics?
show that lured people into terrifying situations. They thought they were being hunted by monsters, abducted by aliens, or haunted by ghosts. And it was their own friends and family that set them up. Each episode began with a setup.
Well, I wanted to set up Ryan tonight on Scare Tactics because he always thinks he is so big and bad, and like I just wanted to prove to everyone once and for all, like, you know, he's not as hardcore as he always thinks that he is.
The show went all out, using actors, costumes, and special effects to make everything feel real. The prank always started with something normal, like a job interview or a car ride. Then suddenly things took a terrifying turn.
No, I have nothing to do with it. You want my formula? You want my formula?
And just when the victim was about to lose it, the actors dropped the iconic
And after I
line,
got beat up in a
"You're on Scare
really?
Tactics."
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Are you serious? Your boyfriend Matt set you up.
One of the worst pranks involved a rat monster experiment. The person
Rat
being set
monster?
up was hired as an assistant in a mysterious lab. Everything seemed fine until one of the experiments escaped.
There's like a little monster man running around in here. What was it?
Most viewers thought it was hilarious. Some felt the show was going too far with their scares.
Right.
And then one day, Scare Tactics scared someone so much she sued the show. In March
Really?
2002, Scare Tactics picked their next target, Cara Blanc, a grade school teacher. With help from her friends, they lured Cara to an isolated location. Then out of nowhere, an actor in an alien costume jumped out. Cara panicked. The alien chased her everywhere. At the last second, the actors revealed it was all fake. Everyone else laughed, but Cara wasn't amused. She was furious and she wanted payback.
Bro.
Cara sued the show, claiming that she had to be hospitalized for physical injuries as well as severe emotional distress. She also asked the court to stop her episode from ever airing. In the end, Scare Tactics paid Cara a low 7-figure sum, and her
Damn.
episode was never shown. Since
Really?
then, more people have complained about the show, raising points like, what if someone had a medical condition? What if they
Right.
fought back and hurt the actors? But everyone was usually always fine in the end. Even the ones who cried usually laughed
right?
when they realized it was all fake. So far, there's been 5 seasons of Scare Tactics. And in October 2024, it was revived for a 6th season.
Oh, really?
You could be next.
I admit, I used to watch this
2024?
next show back in the day, and I'm
That's
surprised
crazy.
it
It's still
wasn't
going.
canceled. Fear Factor.
Oh yeah,
Fear Factor
yeah.
made people face
A
their
lot of
worst
us watched
fears
it when
for
we
a
were
chance
kids,
to
let's be
win
honest, guys.
$50,000 US. But these weren't ordinary fears, they were extreme.
You're gonna climb that 110-foot tower. You will walk to the edge of the platform, and you will leap from the edge and grab a hold of that cargo net. You'll be jumping twice your body length.
Even the host, Joe Rogan, thought something bad could have happened because the stunts were so risky. Luckily, no one got seriously hurt. Still, a lot of terrible things
Luckily.
happened because of Fear Factor. Fear Factor premiered on NBC in
you got
June
to fight one of the
2001,
contestants,
right when
too.
reality TV was starting to take off. NBC wanted a show so wild, so extreme that no one could
let's see if this
ignore it.
works.
So they created Fear Factor. In each episode, 6 contestants faced 3 scary challenges. If the contestant was too afraid to complete a stunt, they were eliminated. If they failed a stunt, they were eliminated. Before the stunts even started, contestants had to sign a waiver. The waiver stated that no matter what happened, injury or worse, contestants couldn't sue the show. They signed and the madness began.
Bro, if you die, it is what it
This
is.
is Fear Factor. The stunts you're about to see were all designed and supervised by trained professionals. They are extremely dangerous and should not be attempted by anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Each episode started with a crazy physical challenge. Contestants had to do things like hang upside down over 100 feet in the air. The second challenge always involved something disgusting, and the final stunt was the toughest. It combined fear and physical endurance. Every challenge was intense, but what really made Fear Factor famous were the disgusting challenges. No one was prepared for how wild they were.
Spiders.
Extremely nervous because I know
Bro.
it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be terrifying.
In one episode, contestants had to eat sheep eyes. The camera zoomed in, capturing every gag and chew, but they were just getting started.
Come on, harness my man up. Give him a helmet. Let's
He
go.
bald
Let's do
and
it. Put a helmet
stuff.
on him.
We had people fly cars across a train, a moving train. Okay, there's risk involved in that, right?
Contestants could back out of a challenge anytime. No one was forcing them, but most refused to quit. However, only one person could win the $50,000 prize. Because of these extreme challenges, Joe Rogan expected the series to be canceled after just a few episodes, but he was wrong. Fear Factor was a massive hit. The first 4 seasons were so popular that it became the first network reality show to be syndicated, which means that it aired on other television networks. The show also made Joe Rogan a household name. Then it finally happened. Fear Factor was sued for an episode that went too far. In January 2005,
No. It is legal because they could make you, bro, if they make you sign things like contract, if they make you sign contracts, right? About saying that you're the one who's willingly with consent to do this crazy stuff. You have every right to back out at any point at any time, but you cannot sue us if anything happens to you, even death. Like that's not like on it. They go all in, dude. Yeah, it's legal because they sign a waiver. I mean, they could do whatever you want. They literally could do whatever you want with you because of the money. Because of the money. And also TV, Fame TV and all that. So yeah, I mean, they signed a contract. They're not forcing anybody to sign a contract. So it's not like they're doing under the duress, which is like illegal to do, like under distress, whatever you call it, distress. Yeah. So it's pretty much it's very, very legal. You can sign anything that does not make it legal. Well, for a TV show, I'm pretty sure lawyers look over it. Do you want me to bring anything? Like what, Shadow?
49-year-old man watched an episode where contestants drank blended rats. He was so disgusted that he felt dizzy and lightheaded. In his confusion, he ran into a doorway. He blamed Fear Factor for his injury and sued them for $2.5 million. He said he sued to send a message to NBC and other networks about their programming. However, his case didn't go far. A judge dismissed the lawsuit, calling it frivolous. By the 5th season, viewers were losing interest in Fear Factor. Ratings were dropping. More people criticized the challenges. By 2006, NBC had enough. Fear Factor was canceled after the 6th season. But the show refused to die. In 2011, NBC brought it back, but it was canceled again after 1 season. Then in 2017, Fear Factor returned on MTV, but it lasted only 2 seasons before getting canceled again. No reality show has punished contestants as much as this next show. Susunoo Denpa Shonen. Reality shows are supposed to be fun, but Susunoo Denpa Shonen was more like torture. And I am not exaggerating. It was literally described as this. The whole point was to push people to their breaking point. Every season, new contestants were thrown into extreme challenges to see how long they would last before breaking down. Meanwhile, millions of viewers watched from home entertained. The show ran from 1998 to 2002, and every season was brutal, but season 1 was the worst. The first season aired in January 1998. It was called Denpa Shonen: A Life in Prizes. The contestant was a 22-year-old man nicknamed Nasubi. The producers wanted someone desperate for fame, someone willing to take on a mysterious challenge without asking too many questions. Nasubi was perfect. He was an unknown comedian trying to make it big. When producers offered him the opportunity to be on TV, he figured it was his big break. Since it was a new show, the producers explained the rules to Nasubi. He would be locked in a tiny apartment without furniture or appliances. He would have no food, no clothing, and no contact with the outside world. His only way to survive would be by entering magazine sweepstakes and winning prizes. He would basically enter contests where he had a chance to win prizes, but there's a catch. The prizes are completely random. You could enter a sweepstake hoping to win a car, but instead you might win a box of ramen noodles. You never know what you're going to get. That was Nasubi's reality. If he won food, he could eat. If he didn't, he went hungry. If he won clothes, he could wear them. Producers told Nasubi he would be released once he won 1 million yen worth of prizes. That was equivalent to around $8,000 at the time. They also promised the footage wouldn't be streamed live. Instead, they would record everything, edit it down, and turn it into a television special. But that was a lie. It was like a real-life Truman Show. It was broadcasted live.
That's illegal.
Unbeknownst to him, the show was broadcast weekly across Japan
The
to more than
Truman Show.
15 million viewers.
Nasubi thought he was signing up for a challenge. Instead, he became the subject of a twisted social experiment. Nasubi expected to win 1 million yen in prizes in a couple of days. Then he would be released. But days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months, and he wasn't winning much. Viewers watched as Nasubi filled countless sweepstake entry forms, celebrating with a dance each time he won a prize. Unfortunately, most of his prizes were bizarre or useless in his situation, like a tent too large to unfold in his room or a bicycle without any space to ride. He barely won food. He sometimes went days without eating, and when Nasubi finally won a piece of meat, he was overjoyed.
美味しそう。
He also had no human interaction, so he talked to himself and the camera. After a couple of months, it seemed Nasubi was slowly losing his mind. All this time, he had no idea that 15 million viewers around Japan were watching his every move. Nasubi knew the door was open and that he could leave if he wanted to, but he kept going, determined to reach his goal.
At first, I was excited, and I was thinking about all kinds of things, like how to do something funny in this space. After about a week, I began to worry about whether I could really continue this on my own.
It took Nasubi 15 months to win enough prizes to be set free. 15 months of isolation and hardship. Nasubi's story is the most infamous, but other contestants went through extreme challenges too. In one season, two men had to hitchhike all the way from South Africa to Norway. In another, contestants were stranded on a desert island and told to build a raft to escape. These weren't just challenges, they were life or death situations disguised as entertainment. Despite the cruelty,
I think the comedian probably made more money than that at that point, right? Because he's famous now. Like, he's like, how many people watched him at the time? So I'm pretty sure he got a lot of deals, maybe. I don't remember. I remember. I know there's a documentary out there. I just never had a chance to watch it. I know there's a documentary out there. I just never watched. I know about it. I heard about it. But I'm pretty sure like he probably like got like a lot of like fame and fortune out of that, right? More than the 8,000 at that point.
Sunu Denpa Shonen was a hit in Japan. Viewers loved watching it. But over time, people started to condemn the show. It felt morally wrong to push people to their limits just for entertainment.
It's upsetting in a lot of ways. What this producer and all the people who worked for him did to this poor guy.
The show finally ended in 2002, and it's considered the ultimate example of how far a reality show will go for attention.
Crazy,
some reality shows take things way too far, and I believe that entertainment should never come at the
I have to watch that documentary about the comedian. I have to watch that one, dude. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video out there right now too. That I referring to before, a portion of this poem was Ugly Ducklings was fairy tale that praise comes from knowledge that beauty within. Yeah, the mom and son, that was crazy. Yeah, yeah, I gotta watch it. I noticed the documentary of the comedian that did that for the reality show. I have to watch it. I just never, I kind of forgot about it. Now this whole thing reminded me about it. So, yeah, it's crazy, man.